this is Lisa from Outback Sisters. I'm bringing to you my first instalment of a new thing that we're dropping down now. It's called Myths and Legends. Probably worded that all wrong, but doesn't matter. And I'm bringing you Lady Godiva. So, the story of Lady Godiva's ride. Was she naked? Was she clothed? Through the streets of Coventry. And this legend has changed and grown over the 900 years or so of its existence. And who was this real person behind the legend? Was she real? Was she a myth? Lady Godiva herself was married to the grim Earl of Mercer Leofric, the Lord of Coventry, a man of great power and importance. The chronicler Florence of Worcester mentions Leofric and Godiva, but does not mention her famous ride. There is no firm evidence the rider with the historical diver connecting the two. In 1043, the Earl and Countess founded a Benedictine house for abbots and 24 monks at the site of St. Osmond's nunnery, which had been destroyed by the Danes in 1016. The monastery was dedicated to St. by Edzi, Archbishop of Canterbury, to God, the Virgin Mary, St. Peter, St. Osberg, and all the saints. During the dedication ceremony, Lord Leofric laid his founding charter upon their newly consecrated, altar, which not only granted the foundation but also gave him lordship over 24 villages for the maintenance of the house. Lady Godiva endowed the monastery with many gifts. She's quite devout and a generous benefactor of the church. She laid in honour of the Virgin Mary, and she's supposed to have melted all her gold and silver to make crosses and images of saints and other decorations for the house of God that she favoured. So, what is the truth around the story of Lady Godiva's ride through Coventry? Why would a lady of great standing in town do such a thing? The legend has been handed down by over many years, so the line between fact and fiction has become somewhat blurred. The earliest surviving source of the legend is the Chronicle of Roger Wendover for the year 1057. He wrote that Godiva pleaded with her husband to relieve the heavy burden of taxes he had imposed on the citizens of Coventry. Weary of her persistence, Leofric said he would grant her request if she would ride naked through the town. The rest of the story is not documented at all, but is said that so great was her compassion for the people of Coventry that Godiva overcame her horror of doing such a thing and decided she would go ahead. She ordered the people to remain indoors with their windows and doors barred, loosened her long hair to cover her as a cloak. She mounted a waiting horse, then she rode through the silent streets, unseen by most people. But the one that did not pay any attention to this, to respect her, was the so-called Peeping Tom. The story tells how Godiva pleaded with her husband to relieve these taxes. Tom was unable to resist the temptation to peep at Countess, hence the term Peeping Tom. He unbarred his window, but before he could satisfy his gaze, he was struck blind. Her ordeal completed, Godiva returned to her husband, who fulfilled his promise to abolish heavy taxes, and according to Ranulph Hitchens' Polychronicle, Leofric freed the town from its toll, save those that existed on horses. An inquiry made in the reign of Edward I showed that indeed, at this time, no tolls were paid in Coventry except on horses. The pageant is held annually now, every year, to reenact her famous ride along the same route that they seem to think, that she had taken. As Godiva was recorded in the 12th century of history of the Ely Abbot, this is the same figure in legend, and it would make her a widow when Leofric married her. A widower. But Leofric and Godiva were generous for the religion, and as we mentioned, she did melt much of her stuff to in offering, obviously, to the Christian belief. Yes, the manor where she lived is still existing, and there are four others around that area. The Norman conquest by the benefactress were Volva and Godiva, usually held to be the Godiva of legend, and her sister. The church where the 20th century stained glass window represents them. Her signature, Ego Godiva committed. I'm not going to be able to read the Italian, the Latin. It means the Countess Godiva have desired this for a long time, and this is again to do with her money and the offering to the churches. The offering died in 1057. His widow lived on until her mid 50s and died sometime between the Norman conquest in 66 and 86. She is mentioned in the Domesday Book as one of the few Anglo-Saxons and the only woman to remain a major landholder shortly after the conquest. By the time of
her
this great
famous
survey
ride.
in 86, Godiva had died, and the former lands were listed as held by others. Her husband had been buried in the great cemetery in one of the porches of the Abbey Church. Lady Godiva lived for the 10 years and then was also buried in this church, but this hasn't been proven, so there's obviously no headstone to prove that she's there. On her deathbed, she gave a heavy gemmed encrusted gold chain to the monastery, directing it to be placed at the neck of the image of the Virgin. Those who come to pray, she said, should say a prayer for each stone on that chain. It remains of the subsequent 13th century church monastery, Coventry's first cathedral, can now be seen in Priory Row. Many movies have been made that are probably still up, but they're quite old. Lady Godiva in 1911, a short film, silent film. Lady Godiva in 1921, a German silent film. The Lady Godiva in 28, another silent film, which was also based on Tennyson's poem. Lady Godiva Rides Again, a British comedy film. We dare say where that might have gone. Lady Godiva of Coventry, or film which starred Maureen O'Hara and Lady Godiva Back in the Saddle, another comedy. Obviously, many people could see the humour in her going naked, if that's what she did. A lot of people think that she did actually wear what they call a chemise, I think it is. We would call that a shift now. So she was possibly not nude. So this is the small little presentation I brought to you. I will put on others of other people I can find. Mostly they'll be women, and they will appear here on our Outback Sisters site. So have a pleasant day, have a pleasant week, and Denise and I will be back soon with some more stories of famous women and infamous women too. I hope you all are experiencing a great Christmas this year as that time of season is upon us, and take care. God bless.